Let's get to creating. You guys have been asking for some more looks with these Danessa Myrics, but we're gonna do something smoky today. Very New Year's Eve. I think that we're gonna be doing all New Year's Eve looks this week. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab clean canvas. I'm gonna use the shade medium today, which is just gonna be a little bit closer to my skin tone. And the reason I'm using this is because I'm actually gonna be using stick shadows as well, just to kind of shape. But a lot of times stick shadows, they set, and they set very quickly. Just a little bit of this underneath is going to give us more playtime, and it's going to make these stick shadows a little bit more pliable for longer. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this Laura Mercier Caviar stick. It's in the shade, I'll have the shade here, I don't even know what shade it's in. So we're just going to tap this here, and the reason I'm going to be using a stick eyeshadow first, it's going to add a lot of dimension to our look. A lot of times if we just go in with powder eyeshadows first, it's going to be very beautiful, but you're going to see a different dimension if you start with a stick first. So now we're just going to grab a medium fluffy brush. This one's going to be similar to a MAC 217S in this shade. And all I'm going to start to do is just kind of press this in. I'm just going to bring it pretty far out. We're going to grab our powder shadows, but just trust me on this. And we'll kind of fade it over this way as well. You can see that the tapping really does blend it in. And since we've buffed this out, which is what we wanted to do, let's just go back in, add a little bit more of that stick shadow just right through there, and just kind of press it in. Add a little bit more depth, and we'll switch over to our powder shadow. Sheila gets to make an appearance today. So what I'm doing, I'm just wiping off any of the cream eyeshadow or eyeshadow base, just a little swipe back and forth. We want to make sure when we dip into our powder shadows, our brush isn't too wet. So now I'm going to grab this palette. Ooh, I haven't even got to use this yet. I'm the worst. This is the Waiting Room Beetlejuice palette from Melt Cosmetics, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab this shade. Ooh, this is going to be I'm so excited to try this. And now I'm just going to start to tap this through here. Wow, that's so nice. And then we'll start to tap it over this way as well. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that same shade and just continue to really pack it in here. It's going to turn it very cement. Ooh, that is going to be pretty. I do want you to notice that I'm very lightly feathering it over this way. I don't want it to be as dark towards the inner part, but we still do want that dimension. And I also want you to note that in between here, if you guys come back and it's blended, it does take me a while, but all I'm doing, this is all I sit here and do, just tapping back and forth. I have not added any more product since the last slide, and I'm just going to continue to blend this. So is it even a New Year's Eve look if we didn't reach for some black eyeshadow? So I know black eyeshadow can be scary, but even the way you dip your brush in is going to really affect the way it applies to your eye. So just come in here and just hit it with the tap. That ensures that we're not going to overdo it. And even if you're not sure, sometimes it helps to kind of just tap here to see how pigmented it is. Okay, that would have been okay. We can still put that on our eye. But a lot of times we'll pick up too much, and then we'll go in, and then we'll overblend, and then our eyeshadow look is gone, and then we're sad. Rule of thumb with black eyeshadow, just to clarify, 2 taps in if you want. This isn't necessary, but if you just feel that you're a beginner and you're just not sure, tap it on the back of your hand to see what you got, and then come in here, and I'm going to focus as closest to the lash line for now, and then we'll just kind of pull it right through here. I'm going to clean up this edge and make it very sharp, but we're nowhere near there. 1 tap in the black eyeshadow, and we're just going to gradually build that up. So now I'm going to grab this liner. One side is liner, one side is basically micellar water. I'm going to take this and pull it under here. So cool, right? It just cleans it up for us. Whew, sorry, I had to go tell all my cats that they are so special, and that required a trip outside to kiss Jean as well. Whew, let me tell you the amount of cat hair that is stuck on my face right now. How gorgeous. We're going to do a wing. We're going to do it all. This is another one of the Danessa Myrics multi-pigment, the Twin Flames multi-chrome pigment. And all I did was I kind of just placed it here I want it to be the most intense right through here, and that's all we're gonna need. And then I grabbed this little shader brush, and all I did was just kind of tap and feather it over this way. Like I said, I want it to be the most intense right through here, so I'm just gonna tap it up this way. I don't want it to look too much like a cut crease. So if you just tap this in, this is gonna be so much fun. So I'm kind of just like resting here, tapping this, taking a little break, but still tapping. Notice that it's a little softer through here. And then all I did was just tap and feather it over this way into the black. So we're just doing old school classic rose glam. These are like my favorites. And the wing liner's back. She's back. I love it. I'm gonna use my Inglot again. I did 2 drops of Inglot Duraline. Just kind of brings it to life, makes it really, really, really easy to work with. My brush is a prototype, but we're just gonna come in here and just wing. Just wing it up real good. So now I'm gonna grab this NARS eye pencil, just kind of go under. I'm actually gonna do that eye. You guys know I'm always filming an IGTV or IG post, just another little clip video, but I'm gonna do top and bottom. Okay, so I wanna do more full coverage today. So I'm gonna do my YSL, I'm gonna do the all hours, but then instead of just applying a ton of foundation, I'm actually gonna grab the new Fenty Beauty Powder Foundation. So that's just gonna give us a little extra coverage without just having to pile it on. So the one thing I'm gonna do, I'm normal to dry, and even if you are oily, if you try to put any kind of full coverage on your skin and you don't have some kind of slide to it, it doesn't need to be as hydrated as I hydrate my face, but you need to have a little extra hydration no matter what. And I just went ahead and threw on my lashes. These are from MOTD and they're in the style Celine. I'm gonna let the lash glue completely dry and then I'm going to curl them in just a second. Let's get this hydration going. I'm gonna grab my Smith & Co. Untouched Skin Brightening Primer. And I'm gonna work this in with my little baby Anissa brush. And I'm actually gonna tap it underneath my eyes. Everything just needs to be extra, extra hydrated. I know I've said that already, but I cannot stress it enough. If you're going to do full coverage, it's just going to suck any kind of moisture out of your skin, so we have to put a little extra back in. This foundation used to be my jam back in the day. I'm using the shade BR40 Cool Sand, and I'm using my Anissa Pinnacle Foundation brush, and I'm just going to start here on my jawline, just start to work it in. Notice that I haven't dipped back in for any more, and I only have 1 pump. Because remember, we're going to go full coverage, and we're even going to use a little bit more foundation than what we normally do. But it's still not about loading on foundation. Remember, we still have to do concealer, and it's a lot of times best if we just grab a powder foundation and set the rest of our face with that later. I'm going to use this today. This is definitely a more full coverage concealer. This one's from Juvia's Place. I used to love this concealer. I actually repurchased it, so this one is new. This is my second one. So I know I said we're going full coverage, but that doesn't mean we're just going to go wild with product. That just means placement and using different types of products. And now you guys can watch this blend out. It's such a beautiful concealer. And I didn't use corrector today because it's going to be so full coverage once we're done. And I just placed a tiny amount of that foundation underneath my eye to begin with, and it kind of canceled everything out because I'm a very neutral pink, so there was enough in the foundation. Look how pretty that is. We're gonna get spicy. I'm gonna do some cream contouring like it's 2014. I'm gonna mix these two together. This is from RCMA. I love when these palettes start to look like that because that means I'm really getting in here and using them. So I'm going to take that little bit and I'm actually going to place it here, the cheekbone, and then whatever's left underneath here. It's very pigmented. I'm loving it, by the way. You know, another thing that kind of just makes me not want to do full coverage is it's so unappealing until it's done. I just don't like to sit here and look at this. It's on my lips. it just looks like a nightmare. I am using my Anissa angled concealer brush to do this. I'm just going to lightly contour my nose. I'm just connecting it right through here, and while it looks wild, I can't leave it like that like a lot of people can, because again, I just think I look like a maniac. So I'm going to grab my foundation brush and just really tap and work that in. The shadowy bronze shade will still be there, and it'll connect it to our face, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. We got some fun stuff here down. This is that new e.l.f. Putty blush. I don't know the color because it's not on the back, but I'll find it for you guys later. I'm just gonna apply. I did scoop it out. I scooped it out with my little spatula, and I have it here, and it works better if you're warming up. So I've warmed it up here, and I'm just gonna apply it like this first. Remember, I have no powder on my skin whatsoever, so all of my creams are just all juicy and melting together. But how pretty is that? That's so pretty. So we're gonna be using our Givenchy powder today, and my little puff here from Amazon. Just search makeup puff on Amazon. The specific ones I sold out, but they're honestly all identical. I just grabbed some, and I linked them a long time ago, and then they sold out, but there's so many. Just search makeup puff on Amazon. So we're just going to continue to press that in. Now we're going to grab our powder foundation. So I'm going to grab the brand new Fenty Beauty powder foundation. This is in the shade 260. I'm going to grab my Anissa multi-powder brush, and I'm just going to go ahead and set the rest of my face. This is going to give us even more coverage and set our makeup as we're doing this. Let's go ahead and start to finish underneath our eye. We're going to grab that first Laura Mercier stick, kind of go to town. It's going to look absolutely out of control, much like everything that I do. And somewhere in the chaos is my MAC 228S. There it is. And I usually have black eyeshadow on this, so there should be enough in here just to kind of mix together and smoke out that under eye. So now we're going to do a little bit of highlighter. How pretty is this one? This one's from Aether Beauty, and I'm actually just going to use my finger, and I'm just going to press it in. Wow, that's lovely. I'm going to go ahead and use this as my inner corner highlight as well. I'm just going to grab a tiny little shader brush, and we'll just pop this on. We're going to have a classic rose inner corner today too. This is really pretty. So I want to add just a touch more of this on top, but I only want to add it right through here. I don't want to mess with this pretty blend we have here. I just wanted to really bring in the pizzazz. And then just to make it a little extra spicy, I added a little bit through here. I'm going to grab this lip liner. This one is from Dose of Colors. It's in the shade Cork. So now I'm just going to push that lip liner towards the center of my lip. And I think I'll do a gloss. I think we'll do a gloss. So we're going to do this Pat McGrath gloss. It's in the shade Earth Angel. It's gold. Oh, it's going to just tie everything together. It has a little bit of pink reflect in it as well. That's the spice. Alright guys, this is the finished look. I love it. It's spicy. I think tomorrow we'll do some champagne shades. Lawless sent over these glitters, so you know what that means. I love you guys with all of my heart. I'm gonna get all of the content finished, and I'll post all of the makeup details in just a little while. Love you, and see you tomorrow.